So this question I have here is an interesting one. It gets into a space that I don't know. Part of me was going, do I talk about this kind of stuff, builders' profit margins and whatnot? And I thought I would. When you guys are out there, you're buying from builders that are just selling homes for a given price in a subdivision, something like that. That's a fixed price type of sale. You have no idea what they've got in it. They could be making $100,000 or they could be making nothing. It just depends on the situation. What we do are what are called cost plus builds. And so we are building luxury custom homes where it's also called an open book contract, where basically we do an estimate. We then, get a fee to build the home. So basically the homeowners are paying true costs for materials and labor. And then we have a builder fee for overhead and profit. And that runs a typical percentage. This is gross builder fee. So, it's not the net profit, but this person was asking about where they're at, different state, what, I thought about this type of builder fee that the builder was asking for. The builder was asking for 10%. For some perspective, we won't even do things at 10%. That's too low. This person thought it was extremely high. Hey, the home's $600,000. That's $60,000. That's a crazy amount of money. What does a builder even do? And that's, a fair point. And, the gross dollars do sound high. But as I, explained to the person in here, well, keep in mind that's not what they're making on the house. That's the gross builder fee. They've got overhead. This is also, in their case, being spread across 9 months. So there's 9 months of work there. As a builder, most builders have a lot of overhead. Depending on the size you are and, how tight you're running things, you've got superintendents. These days, they're all making 6 figures. Vehicles, insurance, marketing, offices. So like a lot of businesses, there is overhead there. So it depends on the type of job, the type of project. I mentioned to this person, and this was on Reddit, that we actually may vary our percentage. And when I say percentage, that's percentage of the cost of the project. So if a house build is going to cost, hard cost, materials and labor, $500,000, then a 10% builder fee is $50,000. Okay. I explained our percentage will vary depending on the project. And they asked, why would that be? And I said, well, we can have a project we look at that is relatively simple in that it's a traditional house. There's nothing over the top with the design, the finish out, the materials. And then we may be looking at something that qualifies as a mansion. It's got, extremely complex design. They're using an interior designer that has complex finish outs. We're doing safe rooms, all kinds of things that you spend so much more time on those types of projects with the supervision and even just figuring things out. Some of these custom projects, people come to us, well, hey, I want an all metal vent hood. Okay, well, how do you want it to look? I don't know. Just kind of, here's a little sketch, and as builders, you're figuring it all out. You're figuring out dimensions. You're building it. And so there's a lot of things that we have to kind of help our customers work through on those very custom deals. You get over into something a little more simple and you go, okay, basic plan here. We can move through it. We'll build it faster. We'll be out of here quicker. So on projects like that, we may not need to get the same, percentage number as a more complex project. So that's kind of how it works with builders. The other thing on this builder profit number is just that word right there. It is not that 10% number I talked about on a $500,000 home. That is a gross builder fee, meaning that's the total dollar number. The builder has all the overhead and whatnot, so they're not making that much money. And again, it's spread across, months. They say the average home builder after overhead and taxes nets 2 to 4%. So it's not really the money that a lot of people think it is. Sure, these huge builders out there make, I'm sure, billions if you're the biggest builder in the United States. But for smaller builders that you're going to find regionally, it doesn't work that way. So that's how, with cost plus builds, profit margins work. Hope that helps.